Welcome to episode 198 of the Daniel Yoris podcast, Christmas special. Let's go. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Little mini Christmas special coming at you today because it's not that cool to put out an episode with a guest in the week of Christmas, but I also want to keep up the cadence. I want to give you something, but not something too deep to chew on. So we're not going to go that deep. This will be a shorter episode and actually a short solo episode. Still give some actionable advice, a few things to chit chat about, but nothing crazy. We'll get you in and out just like that, and you get back to whatever holiday stuff you're doing. So first things first, this is the last solo episode that will happen in this studio setup. So for any of you who watch on YouTube in this setup, which is not much of a setup and it's not like, super crazy good or anything, but it's served us for the past couple of years and been awesome. But this is the last solo episode. There are a few guest episodes, I want to say 3, maybe 4 off the top of my head, that I've already recorded here that I haven't published yet, that will go out over the next couple of weeks that I'm very excited to share with you. But this is the last time I'm recording anything in here, and then it'll be all in the new spot, which is very exciting, which leads to the next thing of just, there's been a lot going on in life, and all good stuff, don't get me wrong, all very good stuff, but I'm getting married in about a month's time, which again, phenomenal, amazing, excellent, but just a lot to do for that. I'm in the middle of moving right now, which again is great, and that's part of the new studio and the new setup and all that stuff. Trying to continue to run the podcast and get ahead so that I can take some time to do the more important things like life, rather than worrying about this in the week of the wedding and before and whatever. Also trying to get the business, in a good place and be ready for the January push for clients and fitness and all that stuff. So if this is you, if you were thinking about hiring me as your coach, if you need help, if you need anything to do with your New Year's fitness resolutions and 2025 is your year, then hit me up. Let's get it going. Let's roll. I'm definitely excited to work with you. And let's get that done. I didn't really plan a good sales pitch here, but if you're in, then let's let it rip. So trying to do all that stuff and trying to stay keep continuing to keep getting more jacked and shredded. So that's what's going on. So if it sounds like my brain is moving at 8,000 miles an hour today, it's because it is. So there's just a lot going on, a lot of good stuff, but a lot going on. So I will begin this episode by giving some actual actionable advice for holiday fitness and nutrition stuff around the actual days and just around the couple of weeks. Now, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, and obviously all holidays, it applies to all of them. Christmas, New Year's time is just a little bit of a longer stretch with more things in between. So there's always that. But of course, this applies to all holidays. And I'll start this by saying, and I don't think anyone needs this, but you can just do whatever you want. You don't have to follow some sort of diet, something or other. You can just do whatever you want. And I don't think you need permission to do that. It's always funny to me around the holidays because I follow more fitness people probably than you do, just being in the industry and friends and whatever. But the fitness side of social media will be filled with people saying just a reminder that it's okay to indulge yourself on Christmas or on Thanksgiving or on Easter or on whatever. And, I have this thought, is anyone reading that and be like, oh, you know what? Yeah. I was going to diet, but now that you said that, I'm actually just going to go all out. I think you're just going to do whatever you were going to do anyways, on average. So anyways, do your thing, do whatever you want. But if you want to keep things a little bit more dialed in, here's some legit strategies. And I've distilled it down to 4 actual things that you can do. Number 1, exercise on the day of your meal or your big indulgence, whether that be Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, whatever the thing is that you do, exercise on that day. It's not because you can outdo the calories or you outwork the diet or anything like that. It will put some of those calories to a little bit better use in terms of your, directing it to your muscles, but not even that. More like a psychological thing to quote unquote feel like you've earned it, although it certainly does not work that way. But you'll feel a little bit better for it. Plus, it's always just good to exercise for obvious reasons. So get in a workout on the day that you actually plan to indulge. Number 2, is fasting around workouts. By the way, I'm so distracted that I meant to say this. I'm wearing a red Ferrari shirt, not because Ferrari's anything to do with Christmas, just because it's the only red shirt that I had, and just to be, a little bit Christmas themed. So if that's any indication of how scattered my brain is right now, boy, thank goodness this is only going to be a short episode and not about real technical major stuff. The second thing to keep yourself dialed in a little bit more on Christmas is fasting. It's very okay to just don't eat, breakfast, don't eat lunch, skip all the meals, and then you can just do your thing at dinner, if that's the meal that you're planning to indulge on, because you just save up a bunch of calories and the quote unquote damage is less, because you're not gonna be so starving, hungry that you're gonna accidentally eat 1,000 more calories at that meal than you would have. You're probably gonna eat the same amount that you would have otherwise. You just minus all the calories from healthy foods that you would have had before. So if you can just do a little bit of damage control that way, that's a great strategy. Or stick to just have a protein shake, or egg whites, or just basically just protein kind of thing. So you kind of just fast, eat your thing, and then that's it. The third strategy is to limit and or avoid alcohol as much as possible. That's where sneaky calories comes in, and that's where you also then start to make worse decisions and start to grab more cookies and junk and whatnot. So somewhat, I guess, difficult to do, potentially controversial in some circles, but alcohol is not good for you. Of course, it can contribute to having a good time and social. I'm not saying never drink ever, but you're trying to keep things dialed in, make a point of limiting your alcohol. At least limit it. You don't have to take it all out, but at least limit it. And number 4, and perhaps this might be the most important, the biggest one, is don't eat shit that you don't want to eat. Those garbage cookies that your aunt brought that you don't even like, don't eat them. She's not gonna care that you didn't eat them, and you can maybe just take a small bite, crumble it up on your plate, make it look like you ate it, and then just move on. So save room for the stuff that you actually enjoy and the stuff that you actually want to eat, and then just don't eat all the shit that you don't enjoy or care about, because that's the stuff that makes you feel guilty. If you have the best dessert ever, whatever that is to you, your favorite dessert of all time, if you eat that and it's delicious, and you know that it's a ton of calories and whatever, that's fine. You're not going to feel guilty about that because you enjoyed the heck out of it. Whereas if you eat something that's you have some dessert that was supposed to be good, and you eat it and you're that kind of sucked, then what do we always say? That wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the calories. And that's where you feel guilty, because you had something that didn't bring you enjoyment, didn't taste good, and wasn't healthy for you. If the thing is not going to be healthy for you anyways, it might as well bring you enjoyment and taste good. So the most important thing is don't eat shit that you don't actually want to eat or don't enjoy. Save it for the stuff that you enjoy and have the best time ever. So that is the guidance for holiday eating and how to get through it. To recap really quickly: 1, exercise on the day that you are going to indulge. 2, fast or eat very little up until the time that you're going to eat and indulge and go in on it, but save your calories for that indulgence. Number 3, limit or avoid alcohol as much as possible. And number 4, don't eat shit that you don't want to eat and that you won't enjoy. If you do those things and you're trying to do damage control, then you will do well if you do those things. And if you don't care about not doing damage control, then by all means, just go wild, have at it, do your thing. And after the holidays are over, which is the most important part, after the holidays are over, they're over, and January 2nd or whatever date you pick, then it's time to get on your game. And this is where having a coach, having a plan that's pre-thought out, having a game plan for all of these things matters so much. Because you can gain some weight in a couple weeks, but if you have a plan to lose it, then no harm, no foul. So having a plan for after the holidays and what you're actually going to get doing and how you're going to get back on your game and recuperate and all that stuff, this is the thing that matters the most. So just keep that in mind. I'll also bring us back to the idea of the winter arc. We're very much into winter now. Last time we actually talked about it was in kind of mid-fall at some point. how you're doing with that. Evaluate how the past couple of weeks and months have gone. If you've been trying to make a change, have the things that you have been doing been having the intended effects that you wanted? If not, we need to evaluate why that's happening. 1, is the plan not working? Or 2, are you not working the plan? Both are possible, and it's okay. It is what it is. But we need to know the answer to that question so we know how to proceed. If you're following the plan to a T and you are very honest with yourself and you are doing everything that you quote unquote should be, and the plan isn't working, then the plan has to change. And maybe you've got to change direction. Maybe something with your diet has to change. Maybe something with your training has to change. Maybe both. Maybe something with your lifestyle. Any number of things. Something is off with the plan. Or the alternative is that you're not following the plan as well as you should be. And that can be a flaw with the plan because it's too aggressive or too difficult or not realistic for you and your lifestyle and your life situation. Or it can be just like you've got to really just dial in your consistency and dial up the effort and dial up the intensity. If you can do those things and be honest with yourself and answer those questions, then you'll find the next step forward for you, whatever that may be. So take a look in the mirror, do some assessment. Have I been achieving the things that I've been wanting to be achieving? If yes, phenomenal. Please proceed. If not, something's got to give. So that's what I think is kind of coming up in the new year, is this, just whatever the next look is, right? It can be cliche about the New Year's resolution, and a lot of New Year's resolutions fail, of course, as people fail with lots of things. But I think it's great. If you want to be romantic about it, again, the winter arc, if you want to be romantic about the New Year's resolution, then by all means, go for it. There is no downside to that, and you can use it as a time of motivation, and when motivation is high, you can get a lot of things done. So if that sounds good to you, then let's go and let it rip. I will be myself trying to, the beginning of the year won't be too hard of a push because, again, just leading into the wedding and the way things fit, I can't really change my body too much. But then after that, I'll probably push a little harder and kind of evaluate. But things have been going good. I've been, knock on wood, I've been injury free for a few weeks now, so that's great. But training is going well. I'll also be in the new studio, so that'll be exciting for the new year. Episode 200 is very, very close, so I'll do that one as a solo episode, a Q&A episode, and I'll put out a call on social media for questions and whatnot, and have more well thought out kind of reflections and some lessons from the year and things like that in that episode when I do that one. But I'll get the new studio space set up for that, so that'll be in 2 episodes basically. One thing that I want to kind of leave off with it leading into that episode is, and this also has to do with the new studio and setup and a lot of other things that have been happening, but this concept that keeps coming up, and I wrote about it in an email maybe a month ago, but that there is utility in beauty. And I'm getting closer to figuring out what that means to me and in the context of my life and with fitness and whatever. But it's just something to chew on, that there is utility in beauty, that things are beautiful or pretty or well designed or whatever, and there is a reason for that, and we appreciate that. It's not just about effectiveness. It's not just about not making things pleasing aesthetically or the way that they feel or the way that they operate. It all has utility. So it's not just about being the most effective thing, being the strongest, being the best. Being the best quality of anything has to do with the beauty of the thing as well. So anyways, obviously I haven't really thought that one out too well, as you can tell by that very jumbled sentence that probably just made absolutely no sense. But something to chew on. There is utility in beauty. But yeah, been a good year. It'll be. I'm actually very excited for the new studio. And for the holidays, it's always a good time. So very excited to move on. But it's been a great time in this. I'll miss these. It's fun to kind of look back. It will be fun to look back and remember the times in this place and some of the episodes and some of the great things that have happened here and some of the stresses with getting all this stuff set up. So the new place will be much better. But very grateful for what's happened here and extremely excited for what's coming next. So Honestly, I think I'm just going to cut this one off here. I will, let me reiterate a couple things actually. Number one is the steps to holiday eating. Again, very quickly, let's let it rip. 1, work out on the day that you're going to indulge. 2, fast and save your calories for the indulgence. 3, avoid alcohol as much as possible. 4, do not eat shit that you do not want to eat that will not make you feel good physically or emotionally. Do those things and you will get through the holidays perfectly fine and enjoy it and have a great time. And then the most important thing of all of that is having a plan for afterwards. So in the show notes of this and on my Instagram and on whatever, easy to find, you can find a free workout program. If you're not looking to hire someone as a coach, if you don't want to pay for something, if you just want to check it out, if you just want ideas for something fresh and new to do, download that workout program. It's free. Use it as much as you want. Do whatever you want with it. You can follow it. You can take ideas from it, whatever you need to do, but at least you've got a plan. If you have a plan of something to do, then you will be way better off than if you're just trying to once the holidays are over, I'll just figure it out. You said that last time. You said that the time before. You said that since 2013, and here we are. So you have to have a plan for what you're going to do. Starting with having a plan is to actually have a workout plan and then think about some nutrition to go with that. I've also got a free protein cheat sheet that you can also find in the show notes and all the links and all that stuff. Very good for helping you to get your protein up, find ways to supplement your grocery list. Supplement is probably, whatever. Supplement your grocery list and your shopping and your cooking and the way that you think about food so that you're having a more protein-centric diet, and that's going to help you with infinite things in your nutrition. So download those 2 things, both free, but both very accessible and super helpful for you, I think. And again, if you are looking for something more, coaching is mostly about structure and accountability for you as an individual. All the best information is out there online. I give away most of it for free on the podcast. I'm not pretending to have some secret knowledge that if you hire me as your coach, I'll be able to I'll tell you the real thing, the real exercises that work, or the real rep scheme that work, or the real supplements. No, it's all there. All I can do if we're working in a one-on-one capacity is tell you exactly what will work for you, given the context of your life and given the experience that you have and your goals and your limitations and all of the things that have to do with you. I can cut through all of the noise for you, including the noise that I myself create in giving information away for free, and tell you, no, you need to do this or this, and then we'll go. And I'll create the structure for it for you and hold you accountable to do it. So that's what coaching is all about. And if that sounds like something that you would benefit from or that you're interested in, or if you have more questions about it, hit me up and let's fire it up. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the podcast. I'm excited for the new year. I'm excited for Christmas and the holidays and all of the wonderful things that are coming all of our way. So big things coming. Let's just cut it off here. Merry Christmas. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate you very much for listening as always. Make sure you if you want to give me a Christmas gift, leave the show a review. Leave the show a little 5-star, a little written review. Just tell people that it's a cool podcast, that you really like it. That is free, takes about 13 seconds of your time and helps the show absolutely immensely. And many of you have done it so far, and it's all anonymous for the most part, so I don't actually know who has done it, who hasn't, and I can't reach out to say thank you. So I'll just say, if you have done it, thank you very much. And if you haven't, please do, because it helps absolutely immensely and takes, again, literally 13 seconds of your time. So that's that. Appreciate you. Love you. Merry Christmas. Go outside. Be a good person. See you next time.